Hello everyone and welcome to our live webinar today, March 30, 2017, when we are talking about using AdWords and other lead generation techniques to get not only more leads for your sales funnel, but also better leads. Leads who are more likely to actually buy something from you and go on to become loyal repeat customers. So if you'd like more leads and better leads at that, then you're watching the right webinar. For those of you listening live, if you have a question for our expert Alex, please use the chat function that appears on your screen menu. Send a question or message to all panelists, but don't worry if you're not able to. If you can't do that, send an email to Lisa, L-I-S-A, Lisa at funnelscience.com. Our speaker today is our Chief Funnel Scientist and AdWords Expert, Alex Fender. So, Alex, welcome.
Hi, thanks, Neil. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. I always hate sitting on webinars and it takes forever to get into the meat and the substance. I'm going to show you a campaign, and here's Houston iPhone. So they sell iPhone repair services, and they're got bricks and mortar stores in the Houston, Texas area. So I've got the last 30 days set up, and here are the campaigns that we're running. And so we allocate different budgets to achieve different outcomes, and we're measuring clicks. And then over here, we're measuring conversions. And so the goal of a campaign is to turn it on, spend money, get leads, and then start lowering the cost per lead by optimizing the campaign. And so we're going to show you a few different examples of how to do that. Now, first, here's an example of an iPhone generic campaign. So we're targeting iPhone broadly. We have broken iPhone, cracked iPhone, iPhone screen repair. And so within that, you're going to put different keywords or group the relevant keywords into that ad group. And then you set up conversion tracking to figure out which words get leads and which ones don't. Now look how high these conversion rates are. In the industry average, most companies only average a 3% conversion rate. And here we're between 32 and 66%. So how is it that we got that high? Well, there's three things that you want to optimize for. You want to optimize and make sure you get the right keywords. Then you want to go to the ads tab and you want to test different ads. So see here, we're testing 5 different ads. And if you just look at these top 3 ads real quick, all 3 of them are getting clicks, but they have different conversion rates. So one has a 24% conversion, 32, and 58. So when you've got enough data, and it's normally 100 clicks, when you get to 100 clicks, and that's a good sample size on each one of these ads, then you can make a decision on which one you're going to turn off. So one thing that's interesting to see here is the ad that has the highest click-through rate out of the 3 has the lowest conversion rate. The ad with the lowest click-through rate actually has the highest conversion rate and the lowest cost per lead. So this ad is going to be the best performing ad. So if this stays true and we get to 100 clicks on all 3 of them, sometime at the end of the month or the next couple of weeks, we would go in and pause this ad and this ad. And by pausing these 2 lower performing ads, we've now redirected the rest of the traffic and the clicks to go into this one top performing ad. So going back, that was just on the very specific iPhone repair generic campaign. Now we have another campaign very specific to iPhone success. So these 2 campaigns are going to produce different quality results because they're using different keywords. They're similar, but not the same. And so you're going to have different conversion rates based on different words. You'll also have different conversion rates based on different ads. There's also different strategies within Google. So here's a different company. They sell windows. It's a national brand, Pella, and they're in Lowe's and Home Depot, and they have franchise locations all across. And so here we're using AdWords Express. So I'm going to show you the example of what this looks like. If you go to Google and you type in like glass repair near me, so it has to include some geography or some sort of word location like a zip code or a city. Right down here is the Google Maps. And when you're running AdWords Express campaigns, they're going to show up very specifically on the maps. The other thing about AdWords Express is it tends to drive more mobile traffic via smartphones than computers. So you can see that right here, 81% of the traffic is smartphones, only 13% is desktop. Now, if your business gets customers from smartphones, this is a good strategy, but some companies don't get customers from mobile devices. They primarily get customers from computers. So one thing that's really important to do is to use Google Analytics. So within Google Analytics, you can go to your audience report. So in audience, come down to the behavior, technology, mobile. So these three sections right here, click mobile and look at the overview or look at by device. And you're going to be able to see, and like in this example, they have 10 conversions on desktop and only 2 on mobile. So more customers on this business come in from desktop compared to mobile. So the main thing that really is important with marketing or digital marketing, you're going to spend money and you want to see how effective it is. So in this case, we spent almost $1,200, $1,191, and it generated 94 phone calls. It was 261 clicks and 94 phone calls. Now, these are the keywords that people are typing into Google, and then they're seeing this ad up at the top, and then from that ad, people are calling. So within that tracking, one thing that's very important to look at is your funnel dashboard or setting up a funnel. You want to see how many visitors come in, how many calls you're making, how many are qualified calls, and then how many turn into customers. So I'm going to go to a phone calls report. And this is really important. A lot of people don't do this, but setting up phone calls and then figuring out which keywords. So like right here, we can see the source of this phone call was Google. So if I go in and open the record, we're able to see the customer typed in AdWords specialist. So that's the exact word that they typed into Google before they called us. So why that's important? Well, back to this, you need to figure out which clicks are turning into calls. And so within AdWords, here's the same thing. This ad is getting 16 lead calls, 35% conversion rate, but this ad has much worse performance, only 2 calls out of 15 clicks and a 13% conversion rate. So where do you want to spend your money? Obviously, you want to spend your money at what gets you the lowest cost per lead. So cost per conversion or cost per lead is a very important metric. But then after that, you're looking at the close ratio. How many leads does it take to get a sale? So now I'm going to jump into the third account, and this is actually Funnel Science's account. We're looking again at the last 30 days, and I'm going to go into our AdWords Experts campaign. So I'm going to also do a Google search. So if you go to Google, and if you Google AdWords Experts, you can do this right now, you're going to see different ads at the top. Okay, now we're not on right now. If I go back, if we actually turned our campaign off just a few hours ago because we had too many leads this month, and so we had to turn off all of the budgets. And this month we spend about $8,500 on ads. Normally we spend about $7,500. So here's the different conversion rates. Now, if I go to the keywords, one thing that people always ask me about is the bid. Well, here we're bidding $420. I'm going to rank it by clicks, which gets the most clicks and which gets the least clicks. So AdWords Experts, we're bidding here $350 for this word. And that word has brought us 2 leads this month with an average cost per lead of $340. Now, we're either crazy as hell for spending that much money on a click, or we know something about it. We either know that it drives us customers or we're crazy. So in a tool like this, in a Salesforce or in a CRM, you're able to track where your customers come from. And so having this type of dashboard is going to be really important. So here we're able to see that Google AdWords Experts, this word right here, has brought us this much revenue in this period. And then Google Agency is a different word in this period. So different keywords result in different amount of leads, different amount of conversions, conversion rate, and obviously different amount of revenue. And then when you're running a lot of different campaigns like we are, we need to figure out which campaigns are producing the sales and which ones are not. So when you set up an AdWords account, whether you're doing it trying to bring in consumers like this one or this one, they're both trying to bring in consumers and homeowners, or like us, we're trying to bring in businesses. You need some sort of tracking tool to figure out which words are producing sales and which words are not. The reason why that's significant, on average, only 97% of your keywords will bring you paying customers. So Google Analytics is such an important tool. If you come down to the acquisition report, and within the acquisition report, look at all traffic and then go to your source mediums. This tells you where your traffic is coming from. So these are the different locations and how they're clicking into the website. Now over here, all goals, we're tracking confirmed delivery signups. So this is business to business and they're doing delivery signups. So we're seeing, where do the conversions come from? Well, right now, they're all showing to this one source. So that's not good. So now you're gonna have to go in to your admin report, go to goals, and there's a few things that you might have to do. So right now, see how all of these goals are turned off? So we might need to create a new goal, like new customer sign up, or create a goal and call it phone call. So tracking phone calls. And then you're gonna come down and create the event, whatever the event is. It's either filled out a form, called your business, but you're wanting to track which actions are actually turning into customers. Again, if we go back to the dashboard, what you're looking at is how many visitors does it take to get into the top of the funnel? Then how many phone calls are you producing? And then how many qualified leads you get from that? And then from that, which leads turn into sales? And then tracking that all the way back to the keyword like we're doing here. So in the last 15 minutes, I've covered a ton of information really quick. I think we've had a few questions that have popped up in that time. So I'll go ahead and answer a few questions, and then we will go from there.
Thanks, Alex. Just to reiterate, if you have a question for Alex, please use the chat function that appears in the screen menu. If you're not seeing the chat box, just move your cursor to the center top of your screen and you hopefully will see a green drop-down menu. If that doesn't work for you, don't worry, just write an email to Lisa, L-I-S-A, Lisa at funnelscience.com. She's sitting right beside me here and she'll pass your question to me. Meanwhile, Alex, we have received a number of questions already. And the first one is from Timothy in New York. He says, I missed what you said about keywords. You said that some of your keywords bring in the majority of your successes. Please, could you give more detail?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go to the keywords tab. I'm going to change it to all time. And then I'm going to first go down to the bottom to show you all of the keywords that we have targeting. So we have 500 rows times 323. So if I do just a quick calculator real quick, not really good with math when it's that big of a number. So 500, so what are we at? 161,000 potential keywords that could describe our business. So now I'm going to scroll all the way up to the top. Well, move that over. And now I'm going to rank it by which keywords produced conversions and which ones did not, most to least. And now I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the conversions. So right, where did it stop? Right there. So from this word over, and now I'm going to highlight up. Out of that many words, we only have this many rows highlighted. So to do a quick count, I'm going to go to Excel and find out how many it is. So Tim, the answer to this question is on average, only 3% of your keywords will bring you paying customers. So for us, we currently, out of that 161,000 words that could describe us, we only have 68 proven keywords that produce paying customers. So one of the first things that you need to do with your campaigns before you start spending more money is you need to figure out which keywords produce leads and which ones don't. I'm going to show you something that's really interesting. I'm going to change it to all. I'm going to go back to one of my old campaigns that was on a few years ago. And this was one that this campaign, I'll turn it on real quick so we can see it. Let's go into this one ad group, the AdWords Experts group. So I'm ranking it by most conversions. So look at this real quick. I'm going to point out two words to you. This word and this word. So just pay attention to the words here. What's the difference between these? Do you see it? Well, first, just the order. See how the order of expert is put in front? Now look over here at impressions. Look at the disparity. Only 2,700 impressions versus 9,400. Big difference, almost 4 times more impressions. Impressions means demand. That means how many times people go to Google and type that in. Each time this comes up, these are impressions, right? And so back to this. Now look over here. Look at the conversion rate. 27% conversion rate versus 17% conversion rate. The cost per lead is about the same, but over here, there's way more leads on this word than on this word. So why is that? Well, more people use this word because there's more demand, there's naturally more conversions. But why is the conversion rate higher of one word over the other? Well, in linguistics, the order, how we say things matters. And so expert Google AdWords could be modified in many different ways, or Google AdWords expert, that is a noun. So expert Google AdWords, and then they have to finish that sentence with something else. So if you have any more questions on that, Tim, just shoot us an email. Neil, what else do we have?
Tina from Las Vegas, she's actually just sent in a question right this minute, so I'm going to let her jump the line because it's more on what you were just saying. She actually writes, wait, with exclamation marks. Wait, Alex, are you saying that fewer keywords is better, or should I be testing extra keywords as I delete the long tail?
You definitely want to follow this guide right here for your optimization strategy. You want to maximize and get rid of as many negative keywords as possible. Negative keywords are the words that waste your money. And so for every one keyword that you're targeting, you should have about 100 or more negative keywords. At the same time, you want to minimize and reduce, minimize and turn off the words that are not getting you conversions. You also want to minimize and turn off the keywords that don't bring quality conversions. So I'm going to go back to the top level or the root level of this campaign. I'm going to only show you the current campaigns that are enabled. So we have an AdWords Experts campaign, and then we have an AdWords Agency campaign, and then coming down here, a PPC Expert campaign. So I didn't group everything together. I actually segmented it. So I put only AdWords Expert words in this campaign, but in this other campaign for PPC Expert, likewise, I only used PPC Expert variations. And so if I go into the PPC Expert group, I'm only now running 3 words for PPC Expert, and look at the difference in the conversion rates, right? And so the more fine-tuned and segmented you can make your campaign, the higher you'll get your click-through rates, the higher your conversion rate, and the more volume of leads that you'll get. Neil, what other questions do we have?
Thank you, Alex. Next one comes from Rob in Maryland. I already get 1% to 3% conversions. Is it really necessary to get a higher conversion rate?
Yeah, ideally, Rob, you would want to get to 100% conversion rate. That means every click is turning into a sale. And so if I go back to this, this business, I want to show you that 3% is just very low. Like we're at 11% in our lowest campaign, and that's in the last 30 days. And then our top campaign is 35%. So what's happening is every third click in this campaign, it only takes 3 clicks to get a lead. But Rob, in your example, if you have a 3% conversion rate, it takes you 100 clicks to get 3 leads. So which would you rather have? Well, obviously you want the one that produces the most leads and at the highest volume. So if you're at a 3% conversion rate, that's just about average, and you need to do a lot of optimizing. So if I go to this, I'm going to show you another guide of ours, Phases of Business. When you're in the experimenting stage of your marketing, you basically have between a 0 and 1.9% conversion rate. So that means out of every 100 clicks, somewhere between 0 and 1.9 are turning into leads. When you're in the testing phase, you're getting between 2 and 4.9% conversion. That means the majority of your budget that you're spending on ads is just to learning and figuring out what works and what doesn't. It's not until you get down into these phases with a 10% or higher conversion rate that the majority of your ad dollars is actually paying off and getting you a return on investment. So you should definitely structure your campaigns in either experimenting, testing, optimizing, or proving. And what you're proving for is you're proving that you get sales and profitable sales. When you're in the proven phase, you know that you're getting profitable sales. And like us, you'll go into the campaign and you've proven it, you know that it works. So you're willing to spend basically unlimited money, or you'll max out your CPC because you either know it works or you know it doesn't. Neil, we're almost at a wrap for today's webinar. Is there any last questions before we finish up for today?
Oh dear, we have several more questions, and I promise we'll answer all your questions via email later today, so please keep sending them in. I'm trying to pick out one. Here's one from John in San Francisco. Some of your conversion rates, Alex, seem to be very high. Please, can you explain what you are counting as a conversion?
Got it. Great question, John. So in funnel science, we only track 3 actions as conversions, and it's probably best if I go to the website. So if I go to PPC Rainmakers, this is one of our sales funnels. So we're only tracking this phone call as a conversion, or we're tracking the contact form as a conversion. Those are the only 2 actions that we're tracking. So if I go to the conversions report and change it to this month, you're going to see contact us, filling out our form, or down here, phone calls. So the 3rd action that we would track would be on an e-commerce website, and we're tracking purchase, click to purchase. So there's many different conversions that people track, but you only want to track a conversion as what actually drives business value. So in our case, for somebody to join our business, they would either contact us via phone or form. So that's what we want to track as a conversion. If it's an e-commerce business, you actually want to track the purchase. So Neil, thank you very much. That was great questions that we had for today, and hope to hear from you guys soon.
Just while I remember, we're sending this excellent search engine optimization guide to everyone who's joined in the audience today. It's actually 32 pages of what I regard as very valuable information. So watch your inboxes this afternoon, and we'll send this to everyone who joined our call. And as I say, we're just about at the end now. Thank you, Alex. What I should say to you all, there were actually 3 or 4 people asked the question about how much do we cost if we help you. The best thing to do is to contact me, Neil at funnelscience.com, and I'll set up an appointment to speak with one of our funnel science experts, or indeed our chief funnel science expert, Alex. So drop me a line. So for now, I'd like to thank Alex for his presentation, and for all of you, our audience, for joining us today. And again, please do write to me. I'd love to hear from you. But for now, have a great day.